What is up, everybody? I am back from what feels like the dead. So for those of y'all that don't know, I am a disabled veteran. I do have a traumatic brain injury, and I occasionally get what could be akin to migraines or cluster headaches. I have medication that makes it a little easier, but sometimes it just does not get rid of it completely, and I'm kind of out of commission. Makes it very tough to do anything that involves my eyesight, really, or sometimes even hearing. Sometimes I get really nauseous, but that's not what the video is about. So as you know, there was a male competing with the girls in this recent track and field CIF Championship. Now, I want to be very clear about this. My beef isn't with the competitor, because that's a kid, bro. What they're doing is wrong, but that's a kid. They were lied to, manipulated. They are the blunt object that is being stricken against biological women's head in this sport. My beef is with the CIF. Y'all knew this was a dog water decision to let this man compete with these girls. Y'all knew that this is an 80-20 issue where even Democrats agree that it is unfair. And y'all knew that now our state's funding is in jeopardy. Shame on the CIF. This is 100% their fault. As for AB Hernandez, I feel sorry for you, dog. I couldn't imagine being lied to like this, being led down this path, because in years you're gonna regret it. And especially if it goes any further as far as surgery, hormones. The damage that has been done to you is incalculable. And while this temporary victory might feel sweet, it's going to come back to hurt. That is a promise of the road to come, completely independent of outside actors. So I have two videos ready for you guys so we could watch and talk about. But before we get into those, I would really appreciate it if you could like this video, comment on this video, tell me what you think, tell me if you agree or disagree, and drop a subscription. You know, it helps the channel grow. I really appreciate every time you do it from the bottom of my heart. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it.
That is pretender, and you cannot change this.
No more delusion land!
It is a controversial issue. I don't understand why. It seems pretty simple to me.
This dude got cracked in the head with the flag. I think there was like a single trans protester who attacked him with a flag, who then promptly got sprayed with pepper spray and arrested and demasked, which is just, oh, I revel in it, man. I swear. It's the ones that claim to be so inclusive and loving that are like the most violent.
But this violence, the church held a Christian concert. This is nothing new from the same group of people throughout the United States.
The fairness would be for them to compete either in their own division, this is my own opinion, or what they're doing. The solution they came up with, I think, is very good, that they are allowing her to compete, but then not displacing the other athletes.
I was here to support girls, protect girls' sports, and I was just police escorted out of the event.
Good evening, I'm Ira Franco. Thanks for joining us. Tonight we head straight into our top story, the controversy over a trans female athlete playing in girls sports at the CIF Championships in Clovis. Joining us live at Veterans Memorial Stadium, sports reporter Gabe Camarillo. He's here to tell us how AB Hernandez performed in the competition. Gabe?
Hey Myra, as you know, all eyes were here at Veterans Memorial Stadium for the CIF State High School Track and Field Championships because AB Hernandez is the first transgender athlete to compete at this event, and they competed in 3 different finals: the long jump, the high jump, and the triple jump. In the long jump, AB took second place. AB led almost the entire event, but Lauren Webster from Long Beach Wilson ended up taking first with a leap of 21 feet and a quarter inch. AB Hernandez was 20 feet, 8 3/4 inches. That was the only event AB Hernandez lost today. In the high jump, 3-way tie for first place, and because of the pilot process, there were 3 different people on the top of the podium.
Keep in mind, bro, there's only a three-way tie because of the pilot process. So if you guys don't know, they created this pilot process specifically for this championship, to where if AB Hernandez were to win any medals that would displace a biological female, they would have another place for that biological female, as if AB Hernandez wasn't there. So that's how you could end up a tie with 3 first place people in this situation, where normally it might have been 2. With that said, saying second place is the only one they lost is asinine. And I could already hear it from the trans activists saying, see, they didn't completely blow out the tournament. Leaving with 3 medals at your first CIF. Come on, man. We knew this was going to happen. To say that AB Hernandez did not dominate the CIF Championship is ignorant at best and maliciously deceptive at worst.
Because, of course, according to the CIF, they were not willing to let AB Hernandez take the spot of a biological female. Now, that was Leilani Laurel from Monte Vista and Jeline Wetland from Long Beach Poly, who shared the podium with AB Hernandez. We tried talking to both of them, but they declined to comment on the issue. But we know off the record that they did not have an issue competing with AB, and they found AB to be a willing competitor and pretty nice. Now,
hey, did you catch that? Yeah, he first said they found her to be, and then he said they found AB to be. Come on, bro. I mean, you messed it up the first time and then you try to fix it, but then you're like, oh shoot, I didn't mean to call AB a she, but now I can't correct it to call him a he because I'm gonna get canceled. He tries to correct it to AB. Oh wow, dude. That is so funny.
In the last event of the day for AB Hernandez, it was the triple jump. AB won that by almost 2 feet. Another local in this event was from Redwood High School. We talked to her about what it was like to compete against AB.
She's an amazing competitor. She's so amazing. She's so sweet. Like, being able to compete against her is an honor. Like, being able to stand beside her and jump against her, it's amazing. Just having that competition to push me to want to be better is amazing. She's such an amazing athlete.
We will have more on how our local athletes fared in this event. In fact, Clovis North boys behind me have a chance to win a team state title. We'll tell you if they can pull that off in sports. But until then, for now, Myra, it's Gabe Camarillo live from Veterans Memorial Stadium.
All right, thanks so much, Gabe. Now, a protester has been arrested after an argument turned physical outside the CIF State Championships Friday afternoon. 19-year-old Ethel Kroll was arrested for assault with a weapon, vandalism, and delaying an officer. The Clovis police.
Look at this character, man. It kind of looks exactly as you would expect one of these trans protesters to look like. Dude. And I bet they didn't expect this either, man. They showed up and like, I'm in all black, I'm messed up, no face, no case, no one's gonna do anything. I'll get out of here before the police get involved. I'll get out of here before the consequences of my actions rain down upon me. You got pepper sprayed. You got arrested. You got your mask taken off. Mask off, boy. Oh, man. You love to see it. I love to see this, man. And while I hate what has happened to the biological females that competed, I love a trans protester getting arrested, facing consequences for the first time in their life.
Police department says Kroll was on the sidewalk outside the CIF Championship at Buchanan High School in Clovis carrying a...
That's so embarrassing. You're the only one there. And let me tell you, as someone that is from Fresno, there is no shortage of trans protesters. I'm surprised there weren't some Free Palestine people over there, because they all seem to kind of come to the same events. I'm the co-president of Turning Point USA at Fresno State. We held an event with Chloe Cole, a detransitioner who speaks out against youth transitioning because of the consequences they face later in life. And we had pro-Palestine protesters there. It was insane. at a anti-trans ideology event. So to see that it was just this one lone protester, embarrassing, dog.
transgender flag. Officer St. Kroll got into an argument with a man who was inside his car at the intersection of Nees and Minnewawa Avenues. Let's take a look at what happened.
At first, when I pulled up, I seen a flag and I thought it might have been one of our attendees that was on the corner. And I look over and it was a person holding a trans flag. But they looked over, you could tell they recognized me. And they said some things, and I said something to the effect of, if you're so proud of your cause, why do you have a mask on? Why are you hiding your identity? And next thing I know, that person's darting out across the intersection, and I hit record, when they were about 10 feet away, and they started assaulting me with the flagpole through my driver's side window.
Embarrassed initially.
Josh Fulfer says during the attack, he used pepper spray to get Kroll to stop. He says he got some scrapes and bruises from the attack. Fulfer was at the CIF event to protest against transgender female athletes in girls' sports. Now, before the attack, Fox 26 had spoke with Kroll about why they were at the event and what they hope to accomplish.
It says a lot that we can't be erased, and you're all the way out here, and that's
having a fat attack in that mask. It was like 103, mind you. There's some tweaker activities, man. Listen, Ethan. I am in full support of you wearing all black and a cardio mask running down the street. It looks like you could use the cardio, but standing stationary, I don't think it's doing a whole lot for you. Maybe you're burning some calories by waving that flag, but you're sure as hell not doing yourself any justice. If you're gonna go masked up, you really don't believe in your cause all that much. Your convictions aren't that strong. And it don't give me this false narrative that you were worried about getting arrested or this following you. This isn't the 1960s, bud. You want to know about stuff following you, man? Be a Trump supporter in 2016, man. Have your whole life destroyed for simply being a conservative, for being one of 50% of the country.
That's awesome. It shows that all their BS that they stand for doesn't really work. You can't erase us. You can't stop us.
It is not about erasure. You can't erase people. This isn't SpongeBob, and I don't have the Doodle Bob pencil. But we can sure as hell stop you. We need to stop you. We're called to stop you. The damage that you're doing, both to the children that you indoctrinate and their peers, is incalculable. I truly believe that you've all been deceived, possibly possessed, and I only want the best for y'all. And all of the science is pretty consistent, especially the new stuff that's coming out of Europe. They always say that Europe is about 5 years ahead of us, and I think to a certain extent that is true. They started the trans stuff way before us, and now that they've gotten a head start on it, they're reeling back a lot of that trans stuff because they see of how destructive it is to these young people's lives. So I think when we do this, it's really out of love for y'all. A love that you guys can't return, won't return until you've seen the light, basically.
You can try, but we're always going to be here. So if you're a Nazi or complicit,
that word is almost lost all meaning. But you know what? Kanye West is kind of bringing back what it means to actually be a Nazi. Oh, dude. Getting called a Nazi or a bigot or a fascist is just like it gives me a good little chuckle.
I mean, off, really.
Kroll says they think AB.
Don't you admire that vernacular? Like, don't get me wrong, I curse, and sometimes I use my colloquial, young Fresno language in my videos, but that doesn't mean that I'm incapable of speaking in a proper manner. You're on the news! I'm on my YouTube channel. I could talk with slang if I want to, Cuddy. But you're on the news representing your movement. I don't know if you even call it a movement, because Ethan ain't got no motion. How you gonna have a movement when you don't have no motion? Oh, dude. I love it.
Hernandez is brave and strong as she continues to compete despite the protests and mixed reactions from the public. Police say an investigation into the attack is underway. And as athletes competed on the field Saturday for the CIF Championship, protesters once again showed up outside the Veterans Memorial Stadium in Clovis to make their stand. And inside the competition, several hots. Even so, an announcer had to address the crowd over the intercom. The controversy surrounding transgender female athletes in girls' sports continue to play out inside and outside of the Veterans Memorial Stadium in Clovis Saturday.
Any other spectators will not be tolerated on our grounds for immediate removal from the school premises. We appreciate your cooperation in creating a safe, inclusive, and positive championship environment.
On the other side of the stadium fence, on the corner of Knees and Miniwawa, a small group of protesters showed up to voice their opposition to A.B. Hernandez, a trans athlete who was on the...
I was just like, to point this, hang on, dude. We're not gonna... The fuck are you wearing, dog? You're on my side too, and that frustrates me. If I saw you leave the house with this, I would have been pissed off. like, come on, Tom. We're going to the protest together. Stop making us look like this, because this is like exactly like you look just out of touch, man. You didn't have nothing else to wear that day, man. I can understand the vest, the high visibility vest, but the tie-dye, is that a fishing hat? Come on, bro.
It's just not right to have biological males competing against biological females.
Their anatomy, and what it is, it comes back down to the testosterone levels. So you've got a higher density mass in the muscle, but the bones are much stronger too. So it gives them an advantage of speed and strength and agility, especially for jumping.
We then asked protesters what would be fair in their eyes. Their answer?
You have to have everybody on the same even playing field. I say knock yourself out, start your own league. Start your own transgender league.
Stetler Brown, a Clovis native and LGBTQ+ advocate, provided the following statement to Fox 26. It is sad that this weekend's activities have been taken over by protests. Like I've told the media previously, this is
not taken over by protests. Taken over by protests would have been A.B. Hernandez not performing. It would have been the event disrupted. That event went off without a hitch. Taken over by protesters. What a poor statement. Poor choice of words. Because you're misrepresenting what happened.
Distraction and a huge disservice to all the athletes who are here to compete in a state championship. Protests and political airtime is taken away from this experience for the students who have worked hard to compete. It's a shame that our elected officials are taking the spotlight away from the students. Like I said on Thursday, this is not the right way to have a conversation about students competing in sports.
You want to talk about taken away from the students? A.B. Hernandez is taken away from the students. CIF is taken away from the students. You want to talk about distraction? You want to talk about lost political airtime? You know what I want to talk about? The lost federal funding this state is going to have. Oh, people like to talk about, oh, California is the 5th biggest, largest economy. You think that happens on our own? You think that without federal dollars, we wouldn't fall over and croak like within months? You're just so ignorant of how things really are. It takes money to make money. And a lot of the money that we make is heavily reliant on the federal dollars we receive. You're going to see how little California can stand on its merits without that federal funding.
Meanwhile, Sophia Laurie, an advocate with the California Family Council, posted to her social media tonight after being escorted of the championship stair. Laurie says she was hosting a press conference today with Republican candidate running for governor Steve Hilton outside the event when she says she was forced out by police. Here's what she said that led up to her getting kicked out.
We have these wonderful Save Girls Sports bracelets. We had flyers, little half-sheet flyers, linking a QR code to our xxonly.org webpage asking CIF to save girls sports. Went back to go sit in my seat, cool down because it's 105 degrees out here today, and get ready to cheer on the girls, watch a male completely dominate in their sports as a CIF lady walks up to me with police escorts and said, "You have to leave." I asked, why do I have to leave? Why are you kicking me out? And she said, because you can't be handing out items here. I said, I didn't see a sign that said you can't hand out items.
Laurie was told it's against the CIF's policy for people attending to hand out flyers and other items. Laurie asked the officials to show her the policy in writing and was refused before being told there was a sign outside the event prohibiting posters. However, Laurie did not have any posters but was escorted out of the event anyway.
You love to see it, right? And you see that a lot, especially when you get in the activism game and you're coming on to college campuses. A lot of administrators that just don't agree with you ideologically are going to go ahead and flex instruction and regulation that may not even really exist. And when you call them out on their most of the time, they don't even want the trouble because they know they were lying. They didn't think you would go that far. Sometimes you might have it where they actually have it in writing. And hey, man, it is what it is. That is their policy, but it gives you another opportunity to point out the policy and say, like, they really want to allow this on a college campus. They really want to allow this at a track and field meet. They really want to allow X, Y, and Z. And that is another opportunity for you. But what you find is that when you ask for the paperwork, if they don't have it, they just might shut you out. They're just going to try to strong arm you out. They're going to try to stiff arm you out.
And meanwhile, Republican candidate for governor Steve Hilton made his own comments on California state law AB 1266. The law clarifies that students' access to educational resources and participation in school programs should correspond to their gender identity. Hilton says if he becomes governor, he would demand state legislature overturn the law.
Look at these signs here. What is going on? That we have to say this. Save girls' sports, protect our daughters. It's insane that this is necessary. Here's the action that I will take when I am governor of California. On day one, I will demand that the legislature repeal this cruel, unfair, dangerous law. If they refuse, I will sue. And we will win.
Hey, shout out to Steve Hilton. You know, in the video, I clowned on him a little bit, where I was going over all the different Republican candidates. But genuinely, I think that Steve Hilton has the right idea with this. He knows the law. He understands how we need to fix this situation, which is more than can be said about a lot of the candidates. I genuinely think Steve Hilton has the best shot at being the nominee. I think people don't really realize how important it is to be photogenic, to be able to publicly speak, to be well liked. Like, he has those characteristics. He's a Fox News host, bro. And he has history serving as the director of strategy for a prime minister. Like, the man has the merit and he has the moxie. And those are two things that it's just hard to get out of a candidate. I think he has a good shot, but it's also California. It's an uphill battle no matter what. No matter how good the Republican candidate is, it is an uphill battle.
says AB 1266 violates Section 28 and 31 of the state constitution, which guarantees safe schools and prevents gender discrimination. During his speech, he criticized Governor Gavin Newsom. He says the state needs a governor who will stand up for biological girls. Hilton, who's running in the 2026 election, spoke to crowds outside the Veterans Memorial Stadium, which is hosting the track and field championships. And we're also hearing from Clovis native and LGBTQ plus advocate Stelter Brown, who says this weekend's championship should not be used for political candidates to prop themselves. His statement reads, "I believe it is in poor taste to use this competition to prop up political candidates from out of the area. Again, it is a
Out of the area? Steve Hilton is running for California, dog. This is his area." Goodness gracious, man. And even then, he wasn't using it to really prop up himself. He was speaking on an event that any conservative should speak up against. It makes no difference. If anything, it makes less of a difference because he is running. I would expect him to talk about this. To say that you're above talking about this is to say that you're above the issues that are affecting Californians the most. And I would full-heartedly denounce any candidate that failed to speak up during this. That's my take on that.
Distraction at the cost of the athletes and their time to shine. Brown was among several other community leaders and advocates Thursday sharing their concerns about the controversy over whether a transgender female athlete should be allowed to compete in girls' sports. During the meeting, Brown said, "I believe that LGBTQ people, when our existence and issues that concern us are being talked about, need to be present." Now we want to hear from you and what you think. Is it fair for trans athletes to compete in girls?
You love to see it, baby. You love to see it. Dude, this is not a partisan issue. This is an 80-20 issue. This is a 94-6 issue. It's just not right. And I think even Democrats who support transgender people, even those people are hard-pressed to tell you that this is fair. They're like, socially, it's fine. You know, we love transgender people. We want them all around us. But, oh, competing against my daughter. I just don't want a transgender person to spike a volleyball into my daughter's head and fracture her skull, you know? I just don't want a transgender steamrolling my little girl. I just don't want my daughter's prospects for a scholarship to be taken by a transgender athlete. See, then it matters, right? Because no matter how much you try to socially accept them as the other gender, the fact remains saying that they are the gender they were born with. It's not cruel. It's consistent with biology and with fact. So that video is pretty much wrapped up. Let's go ahead and check out this one.
Today, a biological male is scheduled to compete in California's high school track and field championships as the DOJ investigates the state to determine if they violated Title IX for allowing biological males to compete in women's sports. Our next guest filed her own federal lawsuit after she lost her varsity cross-country spot to a trans athlete. Joining us now is high school cross-country athlete Taylor Starling with her father, Ryan Starling, and their attorney, Jillian Fleischer. Thank you all for joining us, and especially you, Taylor. Now, I want to, you've obviously devoted much of your young life to running. What is it like to go out and compete at something you're very good at and you've really spent a lot of time becoming better at, and then you wind up competing against a biological male?
It's just sad to see that these boys are taking girls their fairness in sports away from them, because women 50 years have fought for their rights, and it's being taken away by these guys that are taking away girls' awards, their medals, they're taking away their spots. And it's just not fair. And it's just so sad to see that this is what me, a 16-year-old girl, has to fight for all those women.
You might be 16, but you are wise beyond your years. So Ryan, what's it like to be a dad and to realize that your daughter is up against all these huge institutions that don't seem to have any problem whatsoever with this level of unfairness?
I couldn't be more proud. I mean, a 15 and a 16-year-old girl stood up and wore these shirts and were compared to a Nazi by their athletic director. And they continue to push forward and fight for fairness in girls' sports. I mean, that.
Calling a child a Nazi is despicable, first and foremost. I'm kind of just like lost for words, man. Like, why in anyone's right mind would you call a child a Nazi? That really irks me. But I'm gonna try and keep my composure.
That takes courageous. I wish Governor Gavin Newsom could have that much courage. He recently said that this is unfair, but he just keeps giving us lip service and won't act on it. He has the power right now to act on this, and he won't. He has the executive orders, but he won't. And we're on the verge of losing $170 billion in academics money for other institutions in education in California. It's just crazy. There's biological boys and there's biological girls. It's fairness. It's safety for these girls. It's hard to see as a dad that he's not putting safety first.
So, Julianne, I want to ask you about what Ryan just mentioned there. You know, obviously, we are getting a lot of lip service from politicians, most especially from Gavin Newsom, talking about how it is indeed unfair. Explain to us the legal situation in terms of where some of these cases are going, and how they might get resolved.
Yeah, you know what? It is just as Ryan said, it is lip service. You're either against boys being on girls' sports or competing with girls, or you're not. You can't stay on the sideline for this. And with the recent DOJ investigation, that's huge. And for months now, both CIF, the state of California, the governor have been on notice that what they're doing is they're violating federal law. They're violating the executive orders that this administration has put forth. They're violating the protections that are afforded by Title IX. And so the Department of Justice is letting the state know that they're on notice. Just this week, the Department of Justice filed a statement of interest in Taylor's lawsuit, in which we're suing the state of California for its Title IX violations. And the Department of Justice filed the statement of interest and said, we have an invested interest in this. Boys do not belong in girls' sports. And so, just as Ryan said, the governor has the authority to take action, but he's choosing to stay on the sideline, and that's not acceptable.
Right. Well, just to be clear, we've reached out to Taylor Starling School District, Riverside Unified, for a statement on this, and they have failed to get back. If they do, we'll let you know. Taylor, Ryan, and Julianne, thank you so much, but especially you, Taylor, and good luck with the track meet and going forward. You're a wise young lady.
I'm Steve Ducey.
You know what's crazy about this, man? Like, back in the day, like early 2000s, we understood the absurdity of wanting to be the opposite gender. And it was often like the butt of jokes in movies. Because it is unnatural. It's not consistent with healthy and normal living. That might be controversial to some. But let's look at the things that are correlated with transgenderism. Higher amounts of drug use than the normal person. Higher amount of STIs than the normal person. Higher amounts of domestic violence than the normal person. Higher amount of medical issues, your own physical health, than the normal person. I don't mean to get too graphic, but you realize the people that get the bottom surgery, it's like a near death sentence because your body has this cavity inside of it that is trying to seal up. and they force you to stick objects in this cavity to keep it from sealing up. And if they don't keep doing it, it'll seal up and produce a gas bubble inside and kill them with sepsis poisoning. Many people that get transgender surgeries are going to be on antibiotics for the rest of their life. They're going to be on different treatments for the rest of their life because their body is trying to repair itself in a way that is no longer possible. It's just so... it's so sad, man. And it comes from a place of empathy. It really does. I don't hate transgender people. I hate transgenderism. I love those people. I want them to get better. I want them to live normal, healthy lives. I want to fix what has been broken, that they can't look at themselves in the mirror as their true selves and be satisfied with that, man. We all have our own inadequacies, but it's not enough to abandon that. Look at your crooked smile and smile, bro. You feel me? But with that said, guys, I think that's where I'm gonna try to cut it off. End it on a positive note, you know, like, we want to get these people whole again. But the first thing that has to happen is we need to fix our institutions to not enable this delusion. If you found this video informative, entertaining, or some other third thing, I would really appreciate it if you could like, comment your thoughts, let me know if you agree or disagree with me, and subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. I'm Evan. This is the video. I'm out. Peace.